program is presented with described video.
Here on the nation's most popular motoring show, we're in the transformation business. What happens is we take the nation's lousiest license holders and we teach them motoring skills until we feel they've transformed into safe drivers. But you know, it doesn't always work out. Sort of like this Transformer costume. Oh, sure, a lot of time and effort went into it, but is it safe? No, not in the slightest. This year on the show, we started off with 9 bad drivers. 6 of them did learn enough to become safe enough to go back onto public roads, but these 3 remain so unsafe that at the end of this, our final episode, one of them will be given this unwanted trophy and the even more unwanted title: Canada's Worst Driver. Since we began making Canada's Worst Driver 11 seasons ago, we've killed over 50 cars and trucks. And honestly, I actually haven't lost any sleep about the death of these vehicles. I mean, not even a wink. However, I am physically ill about the choice of vehicle we'll be using for the first challenge in this year's final episode.
It's my dream car. A Canadian-made, mint condition, 1968 Pontiac Parisienne. Oh, it's beautiful. For this final episode's opening challenge, drivers will take off through this gate, then slalom around these foam figures. When that's done, they have to reverse all the way back without hitting anything. And all this must be accomplished in 45 seconds or less. I'll show you how it's done. For the forward slalom, I keep a steady pace, never taking my hands off the wheel.
Ooh, she rocks around this car. That's me. Ooh, I've wasted a lot of space.
Transitioning from forward to reverse is my make-or-break moment on this course. But
we know from doing this course in past seasons that where Canada's worst drivers get lost is in the final arch. They don't get lined up, and getting lined up is critical. I can take enough time here, get myself lined up, and then gun it from there. Time!
my time has more than the necessary 1 second to spare.
Can Canada's worst drivers do it with 1 second to spare? We're about to find out.
Canada's worst drivers are Jillian, a terrified driver from the Goulds, Newfoundland.
I got in 2 accidents in the same day, and my driving's just never been the same since.
Next we have Polly, a careless driver from Perth, Ontario.
I'm in La La Land when I'm driving.
And finally we have Shalom, a brand new driver from Calgary, Alberta.
After we go through rehab, I will prove that I'm better than him.
Just give him the trophy now so he can put it up on his wall.
You get a trophy?
Shalom starts by mapping out the course. On the hood of the Parisienne.
No, not with rocks.
That's Jeff. He nominated his mother-in-law, Polly, as Canada's worst driver. Shmuel nominated his brother, Shalom. And Mitchell is Jillian's fiancé.
Yes, don't put it on the bonnet.
No.
Shalom likes visualizing his drives before doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. And
Careful of the original paint job on the Parisienne, hey?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry.
I recommend you floor it to get out of here. That's what I recommend.
Instead of taking my advice,
Time starts now.
Shalom crawls out of the gate. And over a minute later, he's crawling back through the gate.
See, if you were hitting, wouldn't you go forward to make sure it stops?
Drivers will get 10 chances to pass this challenge, and Shalom's already looking like he'll need all 10.
Just go reverse. I guess I'm hitting it.
Now what? Really? Now, you're not...
This is nuts.
Tim Danter is our head driving instructor. He, along with therapist Shamala Kiru, our high-speed driving instructor Philippe Laterno, and our legal expert Cam Woolley will be watching every move the bad drivers make. At the end of this episode, they will help me decide who is Canada's worst driver.
Looks like he's going to be Canada's worst driver.
Shalom's second attempt is slow again. On his third attempt, he hits again. And run number 4 is worse.
How does it get worse and worse?
Get out of the grass.
Should we just give you the trophy now?
No.
Rock and roll. Imagine if you had to run a toy car over the palm of your hand every single time you went to the grocery store.
Try and try and try again. Shalom just can't make it back and forth in the required time. Until...
Oh, he's doing the visualization.
His 8th run.
Andrew, time?
Shalom heads back towards the arch with time to spare.
Perfect.
When run number 9 is too slow, Shalom seriously prepares.
Final run. What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll make it?
He makes it to the end in
14, 15 right now, 16, 17. He can do that easy. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Shalom fails our 3-in-a-car challenge.
Close, but no cigar.
Jillian says she's bad at reversing.
She looks sexy in that car.
I'd look sexy in that car.
No, you wouldn't.
Jillian's first attempt is wonky, but as she approaches the final arch, she's only
10 seconds too late. That's oh!
Oh, no, what are you doing?
Well, that's not good.
I told you I'm bad at reversing.
run number 2 ends badly.
No!
3 is slow. And 4 is worse.
Oh, no! Anyway, I'm over it. I'm done. Oh, I'm getting really frustrated.
The whole reason she came is to learn to drive by herself. Is it time to kick the other people out of the car?
I think so.
All right. You don't need Canada's worst drivers being backseat drivers for you.
Before rehab, driving by herself was when Jillian was at her worst.
Here you go. Yeah. Come on, baby.
25, she's got loads of time. Loads of time.
But now, Jillian seems to be at her best when driving alone.
8, she's got this. She's got it. 41, 2, 3, 4.
Jillian might not be Canada's worst driver.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh.
Polly might be Canada's worst driver.
I'm going to get it in the first run.
For real?
Yes.
She doesn't believe that she's a bad driver.
Polly is a bad driver. She's over 30 seconds late on her first 3 runs.
Did you hit anything?
No.
You hit the arch on the way back through.
On her next 3 attempts,
Okay, oh, little person, look out.
Polly is late, late.
Every time she's pumping on the brake pedal.
In fact, Polly is late on every single attempt.
I took too long.
On her final try, Polly wants to take a running start, so I agree to start the clock.
Soon as her bumper goes through. Well, that didn't work out well at all.
Polly still doesn't believe she's Canada's worst driver.
Who's going to be Canada's worst driver? Just like that.
When we come back, it's our annual
Mega challenge.
If you're a fan of this show, you know what's going to happen next. Before the finalists for Canada's worst driver take me for a spin in public, they have one more challenge to do here at our rehab center. And that challenge involves aspects of every other challenge they've ever done here. That's right. It's time for the Mega Challenge! I'll show you this year's Mega Challenge course in our brand new Dodge Charger.
Can I do it clean? Let's see. Ooh, I can take off fast. I know that. That's 60 right there. I go through the eye of the needle, around the foam figures, through the eye of the needle, around the foam figures, through the eye of the needle. Ooh, I dock still.
That leads to a forward precision section, which takes drivers to a concrete corral where they must turn around so they can do the reverse precision section, after which drivers will stop so they can have a think.
Because the next maneuver is a 180-degree spin out.
Which must be done in this confined space.
That seems like the right speed. One, and then the other. Woo-hoo-hoo, yeah. And from there, they take off one more time.
45 k/h is marked as the top speed this time, because the final Mega Challenge maneuver is
The icy corner, I lock up on the brakes, I skid, I turn, I look where I want to go, and I finish. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mega Challenge.
Polly will be the first worst driver to do the
Mega challenge.
As a driver, what were you when you arrived at rehab?
I don't know, 5 out of 10.
And what are you now as a driver?
I'm probably an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? As a driver? I don't want to say Polly's delusional, but she's delusional.
Around this person?
Or am I delusional? Polly doesn't knock down an arch. And she only hits 2 rims. However, in the concrete corral, Polly hits 12 times. Which tells me
She's not that safe behind the wheel.
in the reverse precision steering section, Polly steers into 5 stacks of rims. And in the 180 reverse spin out, she forgets she can steer.
Straight, right, back. I'm going to hit these things.
This is the last thing she'll do at the Driver Rehabilitation Center. So let's all put our hands together and hope that she does this final maneuver successfully, because we love her.
Instead of going 45, Polly's going 60, and she's not looking where she wants to go.
Steer where you want to go. Oh, do I not have a brain?
As a driver, Polly is definitely not an 8 out of 10.
What are you really?
Well, I'm better than when I came here.
Absolutely.
When we come back, Shalom and Jillian run the Mega Challenge. Jillian will chauffeur her fiancé Mitchell through the
Mega Challenge! This is more difficult with you in the car now. Just because you're annoying.
Before you came to rehab, what would you say you were out of 10 as a driver?
Like a 2 or 3.
And what would you say you are now?
I think I'm like an 8 or 9 now.
Same thing.
Okay, I'm at 60, right?
Wrong. Jillian is under 50 for most of the opening obstacles. And that is not something a 9 out of 10 would do. A 9 also wouldn't hit on the forward precision steering section or burst into tears in the turnaround section.
Oh!
Or hit more things in the reverse precision section. Will she redeem herself on the reverse 180-degree spin out?
Am I at 35?
35, 38.
Nope.
Wow. Jillian has gone through so much here at rehab. Let's hope she has a beautiful and successful ending.
So 45 now.
Brake.
I'm gonna brake.
Turn.
I'm turning. Why is it not going?
You're a little bit fast on that one.
Jillian needs a reality check.
With the utmost respect, you're not a 9 as a driver.
I know.
Shalom will be the last person ever to drive this year's hero car.
One last dance off. Did you ever know that you're my hero?
The mirrors have been replaced about 50 times this season.
You have learned a lot, right?
Oh, man. I can't even quantify it.
I can't quantify it either.
I can say that
You did the best of getting out of the turnaround section. Don't blow it now. Don't blow it now.
Shalom begins completely blowing it.
Don't worry about it.
Getting through this short reversing section
Shalom, you've still got a meter on this side.
takes him 14 minutes.
You good? Whoa! Yeah, baby! You knocked something then.
Here we go. Icy corner. Can Shalom do the final maneuver in rehab? This is it for all the marbles.
Beautiful, baby! Keep going.
Shalom might be Canada's worst driver.
Should you have had a license in the first place?
No.
When we come back, Canada's worst drivers do their ultimate test. A public drive with me.
That's a red light, dude.
Yep.
On your mark. Where are you going?
After 11 seasons, you may think we found the worst.
No!
But they're still out there, and we need your help finding them.
I don't think you should drive.
If your friend or loved one adds new meaning to the words road hazard and could use a little driver rehab, then send us your choice for Canada's Worst Driver.
It's okay if you cry.
Contact us at canadasworstdriver.com.
You do not.
The ultimate test for Canada's worst drivers this season is a public drive through the streets of Hamilton with me in this brand new BMW. And Shalom, who has his toy car with him, will be the first driver.
If I get into a sticky situation, I'm going to park somewhere safe and go over maybe some visualizations.
So this is a left turn.
For this hour-long drive,
Turn right onto Main Street West.
I will give the bad drivers the name of the street they must turn onto.
Merge onto the 403 West Brantford.
It's up to them to see the street signs and make the turns.
So do you see the signs for that?
West Brant 4-3, yeah.
The signs lead Shalom to the highway merge ramp.
There is traffic, okay? So be careful.
Shalom is careful, and he enters the flow of traffic perfectly.
Good man. We are now on the highway.
3 slowly driven kilometers later,
You're dropping down to 80 and everybody's flying by us.
Shalom prepares to exit the highway.
There you go. Well done. Your next is to turn left onto Martindale Crescent.
When Shalom turns left, he positions himself in the turning lane with no intention of turning. This is how head-on collisions happen.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
At the next intersection, Shalom is overly cautious.
Oh, let me go stop.
You're just stopped at a four-way stop and you've let about 8 cars go. Now we have a parking challenge.
The challenge is to reverse into a space.
Let me take off my seatbelt first.
Personally, I think that's crazy. It's legal, but I don't think it's wise.
I also don't think this is a very good parking job.
Now I'm a reverser. Yeah, I didn't look at this side. It's not good.
Once we're on the road again, Shalom drives into a right-turning lane when he wants to go straight.
Now you're stopped at a green light in a fast-flowing road.
No,
okay.
no, I gotta go. I didn't want to do that.
No.
I don't want him to do this.
Left onto McNabb Street South. You know you weren't in the left turn lane.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't in the left turn. I thought I can do it.
Shalom misses a turn, which is fine, but
Do a U-turn and go back to...
his U-turn attempt is far from fine.
I'm gonna switch lanes.
What are you doing? Now you're in the oncoming traffic.
Oh,
Not every mistake Shalom makes is ticketable,
That guy's moving into a lane.
Oh, yeah.
He was blinking.
but this mistake should certainly get him a ticket.
That's a red light, dude.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our ending point is on your left.
Shalom enters the parking lot by driving into the first opening he sees.
Did you just...
Yeah, I
Going
crossed
through
it.
the do not enter, did
Yeah.
you just go through the
Yeah, I was
wrong...
confused at the parking lot.
Shalom's overall ticket count sets the bar very, very low.
Are you Canada's worst driver, do you think?
Perhaps.
Polly starts her drive by making an illegal left.
That's not the left turn lane.
Okay.
Which she follows up with an illegal left.
Wow, you can't go across 4 lanes, Polly.
On the highway,
No cars
When it's
there.
safe.
No cars there.
Good.
Polly's fine. Back in the city, though, Polly almost misses this sign,
Oops.
but she does see this important sign.
No right turn on a red light.
However, she doesn't obey it.
Had a little drive and went.
How did you see the sign and then break it? You turned right on the red.
It was green.
It was red. What does this say right in front of you, Polly?
This is a bus only.
Before turning right on James Street South, Polly finds herself in the wrong lane. but she still wants to turn.
Can't yet.
Well, now we're stopped at a green. Now we're screwed. Wow, we're just stopped at a green light.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Nelly, I think that's...
Okay, how we doing?
We're not doing good at all.
Let me see.
We're not doing
Okay,
good
we're gonna have to
at
go
all.
around, okay?
I would think that would be wise.
Oh, after that bus.
After that bus.
Maybe. Well, you know what? I can go. I get going. Go. I can go now. I have a red light. Are you feeling scared?
Uh-huh.
Who wouldn't be afraid?
Now you're not allowed to turn across a white line like that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
She doesn't know much.
Oh, yellow light. I'm sorry.
No, yellow light does not mean speed up.
Thankfully, Polly brings me back in one piece.
Thanks, buddy, so much.
Thank you.
Polly might be Canada's worst driver.
Are you Canada's worst driver?
No. I'm a terrible driver, but I'm not the worst.
When we come back,
I don't want to do it.
Jillian is scheduled to take me on her final drive. Jillian requested doing her final public drive on Canada's Worst Driver all alone, with only a GPS to guide her.
I don't think this is a good idea.
What's not a good idea?
I don't want to do it.
We'll talk. We're not
No,
going to
I
do
really don't want to do it.
We won't then. Come here. We won't do anything that's not a good idea. What's the matter?
I thought it was a good idea before, and I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay, we're not going to do anything that's unsafe. And if you don't think it's a good idea, we won't do it. It's that simple. It's okay. It's okay to quit.
It's not that I want to walk away. I don't
know
want
you
to
do.
walk
I know you
away.
don't. Do you want us to call Shamla?
I don't know. I know if I don't do it, then I'll never do it.
And what happens to your life if you just give up? What happens?
I go back to the same way.
Maybe acceptance is the key to all this.
So what was the point of me coming here then?
Maybe to discover that it's impossible.
I don't want that.
There's so much at stake for her.
Well, the reality is not everybody can safely get behind the wheel. Maybe she should just quit driving then.
You sit in the car?
Okay.
Let's sit in the car. We don't have to move. We'll just sit.
I don't understand why everybody else can just get in the car and go. They just get in the car and they just go.
After an hour of talking,
You gonna go around the parking lot with me? Let's go around the parking lot one time.
Jillian agrees to a baby step.
Andrew's doing the right thing by giving her the choice, because really she needs to own this choice. I'm hoping she's not going to quit.
As Jillian's confidence returns, I decide to change the rules for her.
Let's say our drive was supposed to be an hour. We'll take the first 20 minutes. I can drive it for you, show it to you. Then you can drive me.
I think I could drive it if you're sitting here.
Okay.
We agree on a new plan. I'm going to show Jillian the first third of our drive, and then, if she wants, she can do it with me sitting beside her.
You have to turn left onto Dundurn Street South.
Dundurn has oncoming traffic, so I know I want to go around this median, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once I show Gillian the highway and all of the twists and turns that lead to the big box store parking lot, she has calmed down.
Now, we have options.
I want to drive.
That's one of the options.
No, I do, because,
Yeah?
but I don't want you to leave.
That's fine by me.
We're out the door.
I take Gillian back to the original parking lot, and she takes the wheel.
This isn't fair to Shalom and Polly. They aren't getting Andrew to demonstrate. They aren't getting a play-by-play instruction.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
That car's coming.
You're fine.
Gillian's not fine whenever I stop talking,
Oh, I didn't even look. Oh.
so I keep the information flowing.
Always blinker. Check in this mirror.
Yeah.
Check in that mirror. Shoulder check. Okay?
Here's the moment Gillian has been dreading. It's highway time.
We can check, look, blinker, and then take the middle lane when it's safe.
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing, Jillian. It's a beautiful thing. How you feeling?
Okay.
You're okay.
Oh.
You're fine. They're going to merge over there. Don't get tunnel vision. Take a peek in the wing mirror.
Yeah.
Take a peek in the rear view. We know from being here before that we're going to have to merge over one, right?
Yeah.
So we know we got to get over
He's
there.
already going over there.
He's speeding. That's fine.
Okay.
Now he's gone to the far right. You blinker, you look, you take the one. Beautiful.
Gillian gets us off the highway without any sort of incident. And before you know it, we're back at the big box store parking lot.
Oh my God, I might actually be able to do this now. I couldn't do that before.
I know, but you're a driver now.
So many opportunities now.
Going back to the starting point parking lot,
Oh, he's not in my thing.
I devise another new plan.
I'm going to suggest we go past the parking lot. We get lost. We just make a few random turns. And then we plug this address back into your GPS. And I get out. And you drive yourself back to here. And so you will drive a little bit by yourself today.
Okay.
A bunch of random turns later, we're 2 kilometers away from the starting point parking lot.
It's about 5 minutes to get back there. You comfortable now?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
Gillian will now face her biggest fear.
She has to do it or lose.
All right, well, I gotta go.
Turn left onto Paisley Avenue North.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to drive this stupid car. Oh, I can't turn left there. I don't know. It doesn't say it up here.
This do not enter sign has Gillian confused.
Oh my. That's this way. So I guess I have to go. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh no. Oh, I don't want to do this right now.
Instead of turning onto the street, Gillian goes right through the intersection and then turns left into a strip mall parking lot, which is fine because the GPS will save her.
450 meters. Turn right onto Longwood Road South.
Oh, you're okay.
3 minutes later,
Oh, I want to go back to where the place is.
this tiny drive is over.
Destination is on your right.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Gillian didn't really do our final test. Does that mean she's Canada's worst driver?
How'd you make out?
Oh,
Did you good? I was really nervous.
I drove 5 minutes.
5 is better than none.
When we come back, someone is named Canada's worst driver. It's time for our experts to decide who is Canada's worst driver. And it might be Gillian, all because of yesterday's panic attack.
You did really, really well in the 3 in a car challenge.
Yeah.
Mega challenge, you did the best.
Oh, thank God.
Then comes the big moment that we've all been looking forward to. I was super excited to watch you slam dunk that final challenge. That was not to be.
I just panicked.
We could see that, right? It was so visible. It just came right over you.
Oh, like I couldn't control it.
Maybe this is not for you, driving.
I don't want to stop driving.
Are you Canada's worst driver?
I don't think you could be Canada's worst driver if you don't drive.
You drive, and you just told me that when you go...
Then no.
Polly drove the first 2 challenges in this episode like Canada's worst driver.
The worst.
And then there's the drive in public.
Yes.
I think for me, the freakiest moment was when I said, that's your turn right there, we're missing it. And you just locked up on a green light with traffic shoom, shoom, going by.
I know. That was careless.
Are you Canada's worst driver?
No. I'm not Canada's worst driver. I'm a terrible driver.
Shalom is also a terrible driver. But he says that during his time with us,
I've changed as a person, whether you guys see it or not.
Have you really?
Like, I've become more confident in terms of learning and stuff, in terms of the confidence in learning.
Do you deserve to be named Canada's worst driver?
I can say I strongly feel like Canada's worst driver.
it's time to name names and break hearts.
Who's Canada's worst driver, Tim?
That's a tough.
It really is tough this
I'm
year.
even confused.
Does your gut tell you it's one?
No.
Shamla?
So my gut says Polly. Shalom's terrible because
Yes.
he's so distracted.
Yep.
And Jill is a great driver, but
She's a great driver who can't drive at all.
yeah.
She's not a great driver at all because she can't get behind the wheel. Philippe, is your gut telling you one person?
For me, it's Polly. She's got so many bad habits.
Okay. Cam?
Well, I was trying to think of the public interest. And if Jillian's in the middle of an anxiety attack on an expressway, I would say she's Canada's worst driver.
She's gonna be driving alone. So the odds of her having an anxiety attack are pretty large. I think, and it breaks my heart to say it, I think Jill is Canada's worst driver. In a normal, quote-unquote, driving experience, when something goes wrong, like even a kid threatens to cross the road, she'll and become unsafe.
What about Polly? You don't think she'd do the same thing?
No, I don't think Polly'd notice. I think the Polly's dangerous, don't get me wrong. I think Jillian's more dangerous.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
I don't agree.
Cam agrees with me, which means there's 2 votes for Jillian and 2 votes for Polly.
Tim? Shalom, let me talk to you, buddy. You are not Canada's worst driver. You're not it.
Thank you.
Okay? I'm gonna give you your license back. Listen to me loud and clear. You're not a graduate. You need to do a lot more work.
Yeah, I understand.
Before he came to rehab, Shalom had only had a driver's license for 8 months. And he believed the bad driver in his family was his brother Shmuel. Yet, when he and his sibling both entered rehab, it quickly became apparent that Shalom was the inferior one behind the wheel. After weeks of lessons and instructions,
I'm going to look at just the empty space between his cones.
Yes. Shalom was unable to pass a single driving challenge.
He had a little bit of an accident, but it's okay. We're all under control. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
While the skills did not manage to materialize, the information did get in. And late in the game, we did start seeing a glimmer of hope.
You just
did it!
And all the skills like I've learned that are essential to driving, I learned it right here. Right, this is where you learn to drive.
You're not Canada's worst driver, Shalom.
Thank you.
Mazel tov for that, hey?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Have a good, safe drive home, guys.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not going to waste any time dithering. I'm just going to get straight to the punch, okay? Canada's worst driver is... Jill.
What? Seriously?
Really. It really is. And it's based just on one...
No, it's not. This is like...
It's based on one simple fact, Jill, and it's that you could not do the final drive.
Oh my God.
Polly was able to get through it. You couldn't do it. And just because of that, the experts realized you're Canada's worst driver. Polly, that means I give you your license back. You're not a graduate. You're not Canada's worst driver, but you're damn close, okay? There's your license back, darling.
Before coming to rehab, Speedy, distracted Polly, thought her dangerous driving was a joke.
Smuffers here.
Oh, my. But her family was not laughing.
And thank you so much for nominating me, really.
As long as you learn something,
yeah,
that's the whole point.
Really. Thank you.
In rehab, Polly learned how dangerous distracted driving is.
I might not ever drive again. When I go home, I promise not to speed, not to use my iPad, not to use my phone, not to paint my fingernails and my toenails while I'm driving, not to curl my hair, and to focus.
Polly learned a lot more than just the dangers of driving distracted in rehab.
If you move your shoulder like this, guess what's going to happen with your hands?
I'm going to go right over there.
But probably the most important lesson she learned in rehab
You're pushing the gas!
Oh!
is the simple truth that she is a hazard on the road.
Yes, I came here thinking, well, okay, you know, I'm not a terrible driver. I am a terrible driver.
See you, Daryl. You know I love you, eh?
I know. Bye, Jilly.
Take care. You okay?
How can I be worse than her?
You couldn't do the final drive, Jill. You couldn't do it.
I know.
You couldn't do it. Right now, I gotta give you this beast of a trophy. I really do. This is my job. I don't like this part of the gig. Honest, I don't.
Is it heavy?
It weighs a ton.
Give it to me.
You are Canada's worst driver.
Okay. Oh, my God. I really don't think I was as bad as Polly and Shalom. I really, like, holy
4 years ago in Newfoundland, Jillian caused 2 accidents on the same day.
It's stressful.
Since then, her fear of driving has been overwhelming. And she's been unable to drive anywhere other than to work and back home again.
Oh, my life.
In rehab, Jillian passed challenge after challenge on our closed courses.
Best kind.
Oh, yeah,
Best
baby.
kind.
But in public, she was a complete mess.
Oh.
She got driving tips from Tim.
Tires don't lie.
She got tips from Philippe.
Look where you want to go is the key of success.
And she got therapy from Shyamalan, both in the car and out.
If you don't find some way to manage your own emotions, you will end up alone.
And even though she got more public tuition than anyone else in the history of our rehab center, Jillian just couldn't face the final drive in Hamilton.
I don't want to do it. Everyone else did the final drive. I couldn't do it.
Our experts did all they could, but it wasn't enough.
They are the best people ever.
Yeah, they changed my life. Without a doubt. My life is not going to be the same.
And we came here on a driving show, and sitting down with Shamila has helped our relationship, has changed us as people, and has opened our eyes to so many different things. And we're here for driving, and we learned so much about each other and ourselves.
Yeah.
See you back in Fogtown.
See you there. Well, that's it for season 11. Will we be back again next year? How the hell do I know? I didn't think we'd be back after the first year.
Take a tour of the factory floor and see how everyday products get put together. Next, on How It's Made. Miners face mounting problems as they seek to secure their massive scores. Tomorrow, on an all-new Gold Rush. Two backwoods brewers find themselves with no still, no home base, and short on shine. Wednesday, on an all-new Moonshiners.
Everyone else did the final drive.